everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video, especially in light of the new season of Teen Mom 2, which I will be recapping every week. So let's talk about the Teen Mom OG reunion. The reason that it took me so long to recap this thing is because in Canada, it didn't come out until this past week, so we got to watch both parts pretty much at once. Let's start off with part one. Part one of the reunion started off with Caitlyn and Tyler, and I have to say, you guys, for this reunion special, Dr. Drew to me looked like a blonde-haired and leather-skinned version of Ruby Rose, that chick from Orange is the New Black. I'm kind of in the middle in regards to how he handled his reunion special with Caitlyn, because like the positive sides, he did tell her that, like, you know, you need to go to aftercare. It is important. I know it's important to Tyler as well, even though you're seeing a therapist and stuff, and aftercare is specifically for what you went through in rehab. What I didn't like was that he didn't press her on the fact that she was smoking pot while driving. And then when her mother came out and Dr. Drew asked her about like how she felt about how abuse played such a big role in Caitlyn's current state of mental health, April pretty much blamed it all on, like, you know, Caitlyn's dad, and didn't take any responsibility. And you could tell that Caitlyn was kind of hoping for Dr. Drew to put some of the onus on her, and he kind of dropped the ball there. And another part where Dr. Drew really dropped the ball was that Kate was visibly like stressed about the idea of having more kids. Like when the topic was brought up, she was like, you know what, I don't think I can have more kids. I'm pretty much one and done. I'm satisfied with having Nova, but I know Tyler wants more. But like, I'm really scared of going through postpartum depression again, because like we all saw how bad it was with me. And Dr. Drew was like, yeah, you know, that was pretty bad, but Tyler wants a boy. He pretty much kind of put her mental health on the back burner and Tyler's desire for a son in the forefront. And this wasn't even the first time that he put her mental health on the back burner. Earlier in the episode, she was talking about how she sort of regressed from treatment and went back into depression after leaving rehab and having cameras shoved back into her face immediately. Dr. Drew did not acknowledge that for 1 second. He sort of just glossed over it and transitioned into the next topic. I was like, okay, you know, she's just a show pony. We don't care if she, you know, God forbid, like, can't handle this anymore and is no longer with us. Like, we saw her have suicidal thoughts on camera, and she's telling you that a big reason for that was because cameras are in her face. She didn't get a chance to have a break. And you have nothing to say about that, sir? What? Grandpa Matt's segment was up next, and he was nice enough to send Amber out there as an opening act. You guys, I don't think he gave her enough notice about this appearance he wanted her to make on his behalf, because she looked like she had just finished doing a Marilyn Monroe impersonation down on like freaking La Cienega Boulevard or something like that. Like, she forgot to take off her wig and everything. She looked a hot ass mess. Her segment was particularly frustrating because she sort of opened it up by being like, I've worked so hard to change who I am as a person, and like, I don't know what she thinks she changed, because to me, she's still the same old pre-gel Amber. Dr. Drew kind of like extended an olive branch to her by saying, you know what, I'm looking at your pupils or whatever, they're not pinned, so I could tell you're not abusing opiates. And she was like, yeah, like I got off them as quick as possible, and now I'm just on ibuprofen. And so Dr. Drew was like, so like, are you in any treatment programs, you know, to kind of help you continue with your sobriety? Amber shut that shit the hell down the same way she used to, like when she would was with Gary and she'd want to fight him. She was like, you know, I'm not in treatment programs. And he's like, I'm just asking. He's like, you know, we've been doing this for years, Dr. Drew. I don't take treatment programs. She was like such a straight bitch. Like, I was kind of like, damn girl, like chill act. You could feel the hostility through the camera. And it's in that moment that I'm like, you know what, Dr. Drew, I do pick on you, but like I could see it's a hard job. Like, these people are all so entitled for no reason, and you're probably told to kiss their undeserving asses all day, so sorry. But I feel like Dr. Drew threw some little shade back at her when, like, after that little confrontation went down, he was like, well, you know, you do suffer from borderline personality disorder, and the symptoms of that kind of like continuing on are, you know, unfounded outbursts of anger. But then Amber replied, oh, no, I'm a really nice girl. She looked so creepy, you guys. I'm nice to people who are nice to me. I can't be mean to people. I'm not Farrah. And so Drew uses that segment to kind of segue into her issues with Farrah. And so Amber says that they stem from the fact that Farrah sort of spoke ill about her relationship with Matt and said that Leah was better off with her dad Gary because Amber's home probably smells like dog piss from the amount of dogs that she has. And it was in this moment that Amber had like one of her biggest diva moments. She implied that the show revolved around her because it stopped filming when she went to jail and didn't continue filming until she got out. She, like, out of nowhere was like, oh, well, well, you know, while I was in jail, the show wasn't filming and Farrah was selling her vagina. And this crowd of women who are obviously suffering from internalized misogyny gave a round of applause for her talking down to Farrah based on like her work in the adult industry, which I thought was highly disrespectful and problematic. And she then called Dr. Drew out for quote unquote letting a lot of shit slide with Farrah, which is ironic because a lot of shit flies with Amber her damn self. Next up, Grandpa Matt finally makes his little debut on his like OG2 reunion in his, you know, best used car salesman blazer. He claimed to the audience that he was vehemently against Amber's plastic surgery because she was perfect the way she was. It's my hunch that the only reason he was against her plastic surgery was because he's got a lot of child support to pay off, honey, and they are not going to pay themselves. Dr. Drew then asked Amber about her relationship with Matt, and she claimed that anyone who watches the show can clearly see that Matt loves her. And I was like, bitch, where? Like, maybe if they're screening this at the school for the blind, but otherwise, no dice. She also claimed that Matt no longer owed child support and it was just rumors all over the internet and stuff like that, but his own baby mamas were out here tweeting about the fact that he still owes child support and he still refuses to see his own children. So girl, bye. Matt also claimed that he never tweeted any of the girls, but that he did watch Teen Mom 2. And I wish Dr. Drew grilled him a little harder on that because like well over a dozen tweets are hard to refute Grandpa Matt. When Amber and Gary were seated next together and had to talk at the reunion, it was like so frustrating because Gary was literally telling Amber, listen, I don't know why you're complaining about not getting more time with Leah. You haven't seen her all that much. You consistently skip out on the times that I do allow you to see her. So why do you want more time? You want more time with her just so you could miss out on it? Where's the logic in that? Amber completely ignored all his points about her skipping out on seeing her own daughter. And she was like, well, I want to like drop her off at school. I want to pick her up for school. And Gary's like, you know, I've asked you to do that a couple of times. And you know what, Amber, you haven't even seen her to school since school started. So what are you talking about? And then at that point, she's like, I give up. I'm so like, you hate me. You think I'm an unfit mother. And she just kept trying to pick a fight. And like, she had the most crocodile tears I've ever seen in my life. She was crying, but no tears were coming out. She was like, I don't get to see her. You think I'm an unfit mother? She's trying so hard to make herself cry. And it's like, girl, you better stick to your Marilyn Monroe impressions because, you know, pretending to be a concerned mother is just not for you, honey boo boo. Gary just consistently told her, listen, Amber, you keep missing out on seeing Leah. You know, you're welcome to see her. Just show up for your days when I give you to see her. And she consistently ignored it. And Dr. Drew tried dumbing down what Gary was saying for her to understand. And she still was pretending not to understand it. She wouldn't answer these questions directly about why she was missing out on seeing Leah. And so she stormed off and was like, you know, I'm not talking to Gary anymore. He makes too much sense. So I'm only going to talk to Christina because Christina stays out of it and she won't call me out on my shit. And so they brought out Christina and it was a bunch of nothingness from there. Now let's get into part 2 of the reunion. Macy and Taylor came out together, which was weird because usually the girls come out solo. They talked about their wedding and all the changes she's had in her life, all them kids, the engagement, the wedding, blah, 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 blah. And then they quickly bring out, you know, Ryan and his side of the family. What I did like about her segment was that Dr. Drew was like, 3 unplanned pregnancies, Macy. Did you not learn your lesson? And then she did the whole PCOS thing, blah, blah, blah. Her segment was so boring. It lasted like all of 10 minutes. What we did learn though was that Ryan was the one who to mend the fences between himself and his parents. And he cried about it. And I thought it was rather beautiful. One bone I have to pick with Dr. Drew about the segment was the fact that he was like, Ryan, why don't you work? He was like, why would I? Kind of implying like, I make so much money, why would I work? Which is, you know, stupid. But like the fact that he only ever calls out the men for not working and not the women is so freaking annoying to me. A great thing Dr. Drew did was point out the fact that he and his girlfriend moved in super quickly, especially considering the fact that they both have children. And all Ryan did was shut down the conversation by being like, yeah, we did. And what? You know, kind of like a drop mic moment. Like, what do you say to someone like that who's happy to be so sort of reckless, essentially, right? Like Dr. Drew was like, whatever, I'll move on. And of course, Farrah was the last mom to come out. You guys, I don't know why she went so blonde and got such a cheap weave set. Like her hair looked so plastic and awful. I applaud Dr. Drew for congratulating her on like the amount of legitimate businesses that she opened this year. He asked her about her blowout fight with her mother and we're all like, which one? Like every fight between them is a blowout fight. And so she said that it was just the fact that she was tired of her mom denying everything, like denying the amount of time she's been engaged and just always consistently calling Farrah a liar when it comes to her own memories. At some point, I thought we were really gonna get somewhere where Dr. Drew was like, Farrah, you really mistreat your mom. But Farrah was like, yeah, I do. he had nowhere to go. Not long after that, Farrah's parents walked in and Deborah just had her best Party City Halloween clear out 99-cent bin wig on, and Dr. Drew asked her about her new hairdo, and she said something that gave me the ultimate creeps. She said that her fiance told her that he liked Farrah's hair and asked her, you know, when she'd ever do something different with her hair. And I was like, sir, like, first of all, you already show that you're overly invested in a show called Teen Mom. Like the last time we saw you, and like the fact that you were like cornering this girl, forcing her to hug you a few times. Now you're telling her mom that you like her hair and you want her mom to change her hair as well. Did that creep anyone else out? Because what? I find Deborah so funny, you guys. Like, it's just, she's one of those people where you would not tell, just based on the way that they speak and interact with people, that they had like, you know, an MBA and were like actually like an academic, you know? Like, she sounds so stupid to me and I love it. For example, when Dr. Drew asked her about how she got engaged so quickly and if she felt like she was moving too quickly or anything like that, Deborah's response was, yeah, we got engaged quickly, but this is a man, Dr. Drew, with a similar background to you. And like we all know, she means he's a doctor or whatever. So he's real, he's awesome. And I was like, yes, Deborah, like you're so fucking kooky. Michael then calls out Deborah for allowing her man to be so critical towards Farrah, especially when he first met her, and Deborah blamed it all on production. Farrah was like, no, he leaned over to me and was like, I could tell you what I really feel about you. I could be real with you. And I was like, oh, this is messy. Simon then comes out and explains Ringgate, talking about how Farrah just wanted a ring. She was gonna pay $64,000 like any other teen mom, and he got her a deal for like $32,000. Dr. Drew then asked Farrah if she'd still like to marry Simon, and she said no, which I don't believe. I think she'd marry anyone who'd have her. And I know this is the part you guys have been waiting for. So the conversation shifts over to the fact that Simon says a lot of bad things about the cast on social media, and Dr. Drew asks him if he's a troll, and then asks about the pedophile comments, and Simon and Farrah both said that Amber and Matt just need to have a sense of humor about this. You know, we're accusing you of being inappropriate with children. Ha ha, funny. That's when Amber comes stomping over like, F that bitch, let me at her. And so she goes over to where Simon and Farrah are. Dr. Drew and Simon try to get in between her and Farrah just to protect Farrah. A producer like haphazardly tries to stop the thing from going down, trying to call security out. I don't know if it's the lipo bruises making her cautious or not, but like she really did have multiple chances to literally hit Farrah, and she just was pacing around back and forth, screaming and cursing and stuff. And at some point she tries to slap Farrah across the face and she misses. And I love Farrah's reaction in this. Like when someone's hitting you and you're just like this. Dodged, bitch. And that's when Farrah's dad Michael comes out to, you know, yell at Amber for what she just tried to do. And that's when Amber's fiance slash grandpa Matt comes out and gets at Michael from behind and just bulldozes him over to where Michael like falls off the stage almost into the crowd, and the look of rage in Matt's eyes was downright disgusting. Like, why would you go and attack Farrah's dad, who was not doing a single thing to Amber? Before this thing aired, Amber claimed on Twitter that the only reason that Matt like pushed Michael over was because Michael was choking him. And I don't know about you guys, but like I did not see Michael choking Matt. And I can actually see where Simon's coming from when he claims that Matt is a violent person, perhaps even towards Amber, because the look of rage in his eyes towards Michael, who literally did nothing to him, was absolutely terrifying. Like I was shook through the screen and I wasn't even getting my ass beat. As security is sort of pulling everyone away, getting rid of them from the stage, Farrah starts yelling like, Michael, look at these criminals. You want to call the police on these criminals? I think they should visit jail. And that's when Amber's like, yeah, that's right, I'm a fucking felon, but I'm a woman, so I'll beat your ass. I was like, oh, beating people is the criteria for womanhood, because I'm failing. As production was leading Amber off stage, Macy went over to grab her and walk off with her. And Caitlyn, like the follower of all followers, was like, trashy bitch, trashy bitch, trashy. I was like, Caitlyn, who's trashy? The one who just stomped over to beat someone, or the one who calmly just stood there while that person was slapping at air? Yeah, Farrah's an awful person and stuff, but just because someone is saying bad things about you doesn't mean you run up on them and act violent. That's just not what classy people do. I remember a lot of you guys didn't like my stance on that in my original reunion preview video, and sorry, but I'm sticking to it. I'm not gonna encourage violence just because someone says shitty things to you, because guess what? That's life. A lot of people are gonna say shitty things to you, and if you're gonna beat them all up, well, ciao. I thought that Caitlyn really embarrassed herself, like quietly yelling trashy bitch in the corner. Like, you know what? Speak from the chest, girl. If you want to talk shit to someone, go out there and do it. You don't just yell it from backstage where you're protected or whatever. A lot of you guys were on Team Amber just because she was the one to run run up on Farrah, but like this girl literally was just told off by her baby daddy and exposed for not seeing her own child for a couple of months and being a liar just for television. So it's like, what are you really cheering for? Like a deadbeat mom just because she wants to beat up someone you don't like? So when all the girls returned to the couch, Farrah was noticeably absent, and Macy stupidly asked why she wasn't there, like Farrah would be there after getting jumped by this person who is twice her size, and was like, you know what, I came early to replace her, so I'm gonna leave early. I came early so I could leave early, and I was team Macy on that side. Like, yes, you should not have to run on Farrah's time, Macy, I do agree, and you should leave early because they promised, come early, leave early, so good for her to go. But Caitlyn and Amber, where the hell were you bitches going? I don't remember you guys talking about coming early. You guys were just being followers in that moment, and it was like, ugh, whatever. And that's kind of how the reunion ended, like so abruptly like that. A lot of you guys sometimes ask me about this sweater when I wore it the last time. It's from Tommy Hilfiger. Anyway, I'm curious to know what you guys thought about the reunion special. Leave all your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and as usual, chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more, share it with your friends, and feel free to follow me across social media as well, where I do love chatting with you. That's all for now, and thank you so much for watching.